Hi everyone! Okay, this is not gonna work. Okay, so I have not made a video in a few weeks, and I'm sorry for that. I keep meaning to, but it hasn't yet happened. Right now, I'm at my parents' house, as you can probably tell, and that is because tomorrow I am going to Minnesota, and I'm going with my parents, so I've been packing here. And I just wanted to make a quick video. Well, it's probably not going to be quick, because you know how it goes with my videos, but I originally tried to, well, because it's really quiet, right? Oh, guys, sorry. Sometimes this thing really gets to me, and it's really annoying. Yeah. Okay. So I guess, yeah. I'm gonna wait for it to turn off. Okay. Okay, I'm good. Alright, so right now it's really quiet in my room, and my sister and her husband are moving, and so they are packing. Normally they would be asleep by now, but it's really quiet, and so I kind of wanted to turn something on in the background so that it wouldn't seem like I was talking to myself. So I tried turning on Simpsons in the background, but it's too distracting for me, so so here's Niall in the background. I don't like One Direction, but my brother-in-law's sister gave that to him for some reason, and he put it in here. I don't know. Anyways, to the main topic. Well, actually, there's not going to be a main topic, really, because I kind of wanted to update on some things as well. So, everything with my medication has been good. I have realized that, I think I've told you guys this before, I think, but if you're a girl, when you're on your period, your hormones change. So I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but it can affect your period, or I mean, it can affect your seizures. So I had a seizure yesterday when I was at a wedding, and I had like one, which is amazing, but that means I'm gonna start my period soon. Plus, I live with my sister now, so she just barely started it, and if you guys know, girls have the tendency to sync periods. So when you live with someone for a long period of time, your periods sync and go together. You didn't know that. So, sorry. So, I'll probably be starting that soon. So yeah, that was good. My VNS has been good. It's been helping still, and the only thing that really bugs me is obviously the voice changing thing, and I guess it's just been kind of bugging me more lately for some reason. Just because it doesn't bother me when I'm by myself, but when I'm actually talking to someone and I'm in a conversation with them, it's kind of annoying because then it goes off and I'm just like, stop. Because earlier today I was talking to my dad about some stuff, and it started going off, and he's like, I didn't even notice it, but I don't know, it's kind of obvious. But anyways, what else? I was going to have an appointment for my VNS and stuff like that, just kind of a follow-up appointment with my neurologist on the 11th. But since I'm going to Minnesota tomorrow, I will not be able to do that. So I switched my appointment to August 25th, and we'll see how that goes. I am looking forward to it. Originally, a few months ago, before I got on the Oxteller, which is the extended release trileptal, which if you watch my other videos, you'll know how that whole process went. But before I was on that, my double vision was terrible. And so, my neurologist had said that when I have my appointment in August, so this was back in like March or something, she said when I have my appointment again, if the VNS continues to work the way it was, then maybe we could wean me off of my trileptal, or at least some of it, because that's the one that's been causing me the most damage, I guess you could say. But now that I'm on the Oxteller, it's not doing it anymore, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm still having seizures, not as many, well actually, probably maybe about the same amount, maybe a little less, but they're less extreme. And really not really noticeable at all anymore, except to the people who know about them. And so I don't know what's going to happen with that. My neurologist also told me that I might just be able to, I don't know what the term is, but instead of going like up in the volts in the VNS, just go, so it goes off, like right now it's going off every 5 minutes. It goes off for 30 seconds. Okay. But if I can't go off some of my medications, or like get weaned off, sorry guys, I don't know why it's like this, then she said I could go, so instead of going off for 30 seconds every 5 minutes, it'd be every 3 minutes. So it would go off once every 3 minutes or once every 3 minutes for 30 seconds. So I don't know what's gonna happen there, but I feel good about it, I think. Yeah, so everything's good with that. Sorry guys, I'm exhausted. Originally I was just gonna make a video about something else, but then I figured since I haven't made a video in a few weeks, then I might as well just give you an update. And Niall, you were being very annoying in the background there. Okay. Whatever. Okay. I wanted to talk about, well, obviously epilepsy and seizures. But a couple weeks ago, I was talking to my brother-in-law about seizures and how a lot of people don't know what to do when someone has a seizure, and like the first aid kind of thing. And seizures are a serious thing, and a lot of people, so I'm just gonna kind of go into this and maybe give you some tips on what to do, because it's kind of dangerous if you don't know what to do. Okay, so whenever I tell people, well, the reaction I usually get when I tell a person that I have seizures is, oh, are you gonna have a seizure right now? Are you gonna drop on the ground? Are you gonna shake? Oh, what do I do? Like, and I try and tell them, but it's like no matter what I tell them, they still freak out. And so it's always been hard. I feel like people need to be more educated about these things. People just kind of brush it off. They don't really know about it. That's the thing. So I'm going to talk about, well, I'm just going to jump right into it. So when someone has a grand mal seizure, first off, a grand mal seizure is when all the neurons are firing all at once in your brain. Okay. There are different types of seizures, but the grand mal, or also known as tonic-clonic, all the neurons fire all at once in your brain, and that is why when you have one, you cannot control your body. And so a lot of the times when people have one, they foam at the mouth. They sometimes can't control their bladder, and so there's that. And they thrash around because they can't control what's happening, because all of it is firing at once. And so that means all of your movements, like all of what's in your brain, is going off at once. So when someone has a grand mal seizure, it depends on where they are. But if I were to have one right now, say I'm sitting on my bed right now, sitting on the edge of my bed. If I were to have one right now, I would most likely, so when I have one, I twist to the left like this, okay? I would most likely fall this way, but if my foot were to get caught, I would fall on the ground. And that's what happens with a lot of people. If they're already lying down, then it's okay, but if someone is sitting in a chair or just on a bed and it's not like very stable, then they could fall on the ground. And frankly, like, if someone doesn't know what a seizure is, if someone hasn't seen a seizure before, it's very alarming, and a lot of people don't know what to do. And so when I tell people about it, for some reason, people have this in their mind where some people think that when someone's having a seizure to, like, put a spoon in their mouth. And after I thought about this for a while, well, first of all, that's false. You don't do that. After I thought about it for a while, so my VNS says hi, by the way. Oh, look, here it is. That's how the scar is doing, by the way. And then there's my other one. So it's just that. Anyway. So, what was I saying? I always get really distracted when this thing goes off because I'm like, oh, I'll stress out. Okay, it's good. So people always think that you should stick a spoon in your mouth, like in their mouth when someone's having a seizure. They're like, oh, here's a spoon. The reason why a lot of people think that is because when someone's having a seizure, their tongue can fall back into their throat. And a lot of people say, oh, they'll swallow their tongue. Wrong. It's impossible for someone to swallow their tongue. But they can choke on it. Because if you're lying back and your tongue isn't just sitting there, it could fall back and sit, and then you can choke on it. And so what you do, people think that you need to do all this crazy stuff in order to, like, keep the person, like, I don't know what they think, but, like, you can't stop the person. You have to make sure they're safe. And so if someone's on the ground having a seizure, say if I were to fall on the ground right now, I have carpet on the ground. If I were to fall on the ground right now, well, no one's here right now, but someone probably would hear me. You would want to turn me on my side, so that way my tongue doesn't go in the back. Because when you turn someone on their side, the tongue will go like that. And that way they don't choke on their tongue. If it's on a hardwood floor, or even if it's not, get a pillow, get something soft, and put it under the head. It's good to just do it anyway, that way there's kind of support. I mean, if you don't have one, you can always just hold their head in your hands, or, like, you can, if the person's right here, you can kind of turn them and have them in your lap, but honestly, like, it's just better to, like, have their head, like, support it, that way it's not thrashing around, because if you don't support their head, it is going to bang, and they could get really hurt. So all these things seem so complicated whenever I tell people, but really it's just common sense. When someone's shaking on the ground, you don't want them to get hurt. You want to make sure that they're not hitting their head. So you're just like, oh no, like, if anyone falls on the ground, you don't want them to hurt themselves, so you cushion them. So that's exactly how it is. And obviously if their tongue is like, bleh, then you want to turn them on the side so they don't hurt their tongue. So it's just common sense. But it is scary. It's scary if you don't know what to do, and that's why I'm trying to tell you what to do. Explain. So that's for a grand mal seizure. Oh, also, if you know that the person has epilepsy and already has those seizures, then you're okay. If that person, it's always good to check their wrist to see if they have a medical bracelet. Like mine just says my name on it. I don't even know if you can see it. Dang it, stupid lighting. It says my name on it, and then on the back, see, on the back it says, you can't even see it. On the back it says epilepsy. Effort, whatever. Okay. On the back it says epilepsy. And honestly, like, a lot of people, when they see this bracelet, they think I have diabetes, just because people with diabetes wear medical bracelets, but it's really an epilepsy bracelet. And you want to check their wrist or ankle or whatever, see if you don't know them, see if they're wearing something. If you don't know who they are and they're having a seizure, you want to call 911, just in case, because people who don't have epilepsy can have a seizure in their life. Actually, if I'm going to talk about statistics here, 1 in 6 people will have a seizure in their lifetime, and 1 in 10 will have epilepsy. So, it's normal for a person to have a seizure in their lifetime, okay? And that doesn't mean you have epilepsy if you have a seizure. I'm not sure why people do, but it's just how it is, I guess. But yeah, if you don't know the person, they're having a seizure, call 911. If you know who they are and you know that they have epilepsy, wait for them to come out of the seizure. Do not move them. Don't try to put anything in their mouth. Because, yeah. So a grand mal seizure can last from, 3 to 4 minutes. If it lasts longer than that, call 911. Even if they have epilepsy. Grand mal seizures should not last longer than 4.5 minutes. Okay? Sorry, guys. Yeah. Even when a person is done shaking, the brain waves are still firing. So even after the person is done shaking, wait for them to come out of it. Okay? Because even when I'm done shaking, it takes me a couple minutes to actually come out of the seizure and talk. So let them take their time to come out of it. Don't try and move them. Don't try and put anything in their mouth. Just sit there and say, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay, because there's nothing more humiliating than having a seizure. I mean, it's crazy how humiliating it is to have a seizure. Because even if you don't know what's happening, you wake up and you realize you just had one. It's just crazy how humiliating it is. What else was I going to say? So, I've talked about this in other videos. There are other types of seizures besides grand mal seizures, but, like the ones that I have right now, I just stare off into space, and I guess people don't notice them unless they know who I am and know that I have them. Like yesterday at the wedding, I was just standing there, and I kind of froze, and then my sister came over. She knew I was having one, but I guess no one else did. But those of you who have epilepsy, it is the most difficult thing I've ever had to go through. And I mean, I've been having seizures for almost 7 years. And I'm sure there are those of you who have had them longer. But it doesn't get easier, it really doesn't. But you do grow stronger, and you do grow, and you learn ways to deal with it, even though it's still extremely hard. There are different forms of epilepsy. So there are those people who have grand mal seizures every day, maybe a few times a day, which I can't even imagine how that would be. There are those people who have them once a week, a couple times a month. With me, I have them a couple times a month, maybe a few times, but since my VNS is helping more, they're less extreme. I used to have complex partials a couple years ago where I would freeze in my place, turn to the left, freeze there, kind of shake, maybe clench my fist like that for about 15 or 20 seconds. Humiliating. Then those went away because I was on better medication. Now I have simple partials, and like I just told you, I stay off in the space, kind of like that. Sometimes I clench my fist, but I always turn to the left, no matter what seizure I'm in, always the left. So it's so different for everyone. So it's not like one of those things where when you see someone fall to the ground and start shaking, you say, oh, they're having a seizure. But those are not the only types of seizures that are out there. So if someone is having a seizure, it's pretty unique to them. So when I used to twist to the left, people didn't know what was happening. They didn't know I was having a seizure. So I think that's one of the scariest parts because they don't know what you're doing. And it made me feel like a freak. And there are times that I still feel like a freak. So those of you, like I was saying before, those of you with epilepsy, it's so difficult. I mean, just every day, it's so hard. But I hate telling people that I have seizures. I hate it. It never gets easier. And I usually put it off until I have to tell them. My roommates actually, when I was in Idaho, only a couple of my roommates knew out of 6 of them because I wasn't close with them anyway, and I didn't want to tell them because they were rude. And one of them made me feel really bad about it anyway, so I don't know. But it's like, if you're gonna be around someone for a long time, you gotta tell them. And I know how hard it is, but you gotta tell them because they're gonna be around you and they need to know. They need to know how to help you. And even if they can't help you by doing anything like it with me, I just stare off into space. They can't do anything about it. It's still good for them to know so they know, like, why you can't go to activities. Like with me, if I have too many of those, my head starts hurting and I'll feel really nauseated. And like with my medications, sometimes I get sick. So they need to know, like, why. Like, if they're your friend, they want to know why you're missing all these activities. Or, like, why you're not feeling good, you know? So, if you guys need anyone to talk to, you can talk to me. Oh my gosh, okay. I'll leave my email down below as usual. Social media. Feel free to email me or talk to me on one of those. I'm always there. I'll answer, and if you feel like you have no one to talk to, you definitely have me to talk to. I love talking to new people, and I love being able to talk about my epilepsy with people who actually know what I'm talking about. I love it when you guys comment. So if you have anything to say, comment down below, and I love you guys, and I hope this video helped you. If you subscribe, then I'm gonna probably be making more videos soon. I've been so busy lately, that's why I didn't make any, but I'll be making more soon, and I usually make them very close together. So if you subscribe, you'll be able to get more of my videos, and if you have any suggestions for videos, then let me know. Check out my other ones as well, and I will talk to you next time. Bye, guys.